everyone, it's Linda here with the Watch Me Work Wednesday. Now, as you can see, this is a pre-recorded session because unfortunately this Wednesday night is State of Origin night and I just have to watch my football. Okay, so my apologies. I know a lot of you like to see it live, but unfortunately footy comes first this time of year. And I'm kind of started off in a hurry here. I started working and then I thought, oh my goodness, I'm supposed to be recording this. So that's why it's a little bit disheveled here at the moment, but here is my focus image, and so I'll just get rid of that. I'm actually going to work in my Dina Wakley ledger journal. And just make sure I've got that in camera before I move on. And you can see I've started to put paint on when I realised that I should have been recording. So I'll just see how that goes. See if that's in my. Just close your eyes for a minute. I'm going to lift up my camera. Hopefully, see how that goes. Just wait for the camera to catch up. Alright, now I'm all out of whack. Sorry, I should have done this before. Okay. There we go, that's a little bit better. Alright. Okay, right. So, yes, I'm going to be working in here, obviously, with this image. So the colours that I'm using, Dina Wakley, I've chosen a few colours already. And yeah, so I've started to put out, what was this one? Mustard. So you can see I've put a few little sprigs around the page here, and I'm going to grab a tool. I've got a silicone tool, and I'm just going to, unfortunately it started to dry because I've left it on there too long before I decided I needed to, but that's okay, this will be fine. So I don't know, I haven't thought of a quote for this one yet. I want to think about it before I do put a quote on here, but I kind of just felt that this reminded me a little bit of you know, an apocalyptic movie where, you know, the future, what we live like in the future. But that's what I get from this image. So I just want to have a think about that before I actually put something on. But for tonight, we'll just work through doing a few different techniques to see what we can come up with. But I just love this image. I love the colours on it. So hence why I've used the mustard. And I also got out a bit of Sedona, so I'm going to just put a little bit of that out, not as much. And just what I call smooshing. I don't know, it doesn't have a technical term, this, but I'm calling it smooshing. So I've kind of got my silicone tool on the flat side, so occasionally I'll scrape it down, but we're just trying to get this real grungy sort of feel. So I hope everyone is okay tonight. Alright, I'm liking that. Oh, just pull that down a little bit, we're off screen a bit there. I shall, what have I done there? Sedona. Let me look at my picture. I might go with I might just grab a little bit of malachite. Actually, I should dry this off first before I do that. So I hope everybody is doing well. I'm sitting here today and it's absolutely horrendous, the heat in Brisbane today. Got the aircon on, but oh gosh. So does everyone have a Dina Wakley ledger journal? I know they're hard to come by. But they're different. But I like them. Okay, so I just feel that we need a little bit of a different colour here. So I also got out malachite. Now malachite's quite lighter than what's on there, but I think it's going to be nice. So we're just going to put little bits out, just in some spots, just to highlight a little bit, not too much. Just want to cover up some of that because I think the picture's going to go on this side. The reason I'm putting the picture on this side is because he's looking out that way, or she, or whoever it is looking out that way. So they're looking off the page. That means that directs your eye off the page. You don't want the viewer's eye to do that. You want the viewer's eye to move over to the other side of the page. So that is why I am doing that. Okay. So we just needed a little bit more extra, so I'm just grabbing a little bit there. Not overthinking it too much. I just love the way Silicon Tools spread paint. It's a really good alternative when you're doing something. Push that back up there. Dry him off a little bit too. So I haven't really thought about stencils or anything like that, but we'll work something out. Already I'm like loving this page. Let's just put our picture back down onto it. So I'm not going to do a lot to the background as far as I want the journal to come through. So that's added another layer as well. So, you know, I sort of think, and I'm going to put him, I keep calling him him, but I'm not sure if it's a him or a her, but I'm going to put him pretty close to the center of the page because I'm looking at it overall, okay, not with the set line down the middle. Obviously I don't want it sitting on the line, so I'll bring it back, but it means I've got a good space here and, you know, for something else over there as well. But what over there, I do not know. But anyway, that looks good. Now, I'm just looking at the screen. It looks very blue on the screen. I mean, it is very blue compared to the malachite, but when you put it with, what did I decide? I got out the ocean and looks very good with it. There's ocean and there's peacock. Obviously one's blue and one's green. Alright, so we've got that part. What we'll do now is I shall have a look at my stencils, see what I've got in my stencils. Here's my general stencils. This is just a book of all sorts. Different brands, different, you know, some of them are old, you know, I've gone through and I've dug out. Let's have a look at our picture to see if that's going to influence anything. I often like to have a look to sort of see what I can come up with. And then I'll just have a look to see what grabs me as I'm going along. kind of like that, so we'll pull that out just in case. Yeah, so a lot of these, I don't know the origins of where, because I find, oh gosh, I find these days I tend to go through all my old stuff, and I'm really liking that, looking back through old stuff that I have got. I was just looking to see, that's what I was looking for, to see if I had any paint splotches or something. Don't know about that one. But anyway, let's just keep looking. Guess I'm looking for a bit grungy too. Yeah. Look, I think we'll just play with this one that I've got out here already. And look, when you start going through your old stuff, you realise just how many stencils you have that are the same. You know, honestly, we really buy too much stuff sometimes, I think. But anyway, that's something for another day. Okay, so I'm just going to randomly do this all over. And I think I might, because there is a little bit of red on here. So I did get out the ruby. Yeah, ruby. Haven't got a lot of ruby. I've got to buy more. Actually, no, I've got plenty of ruby. It's rouge I need. So I'm just going to put a little splotch out here. I'll move this over. Get rid of all of that. Got too much stuff here. Get rid of all of that. I've got to go through my dinner weeklies and buy more paints because I feel like I'm running out of everything. So I'm going to grab, I think I'll just grab the makeup sponge, and I'm just going to put a little bit. Now I don't want to put too much of this red. I may even, you can see on my palette there, I was just looking at different colours before I started, and so I'm may even dip into that as well, because I'm very conscious of the red looking like, you know, blood splatter and stuff like that, so that, which is not what I want. So I'm just going over little bits just to tie it in a bit. I should be doing the 3 rule. Sometimes I just get too carried away and so I'm just tapping into the paint that I've got on here. I'm getting into the reds and the yellows. Not putting too much there because I know that's where my picture's going to go. In the middle there. Gosh, I'm rough with it. Trying to just keep it towards the edges. Let's just have a look at that on the. Okay. Now I'm going to have to put something else because I don't like the reddy colours, because to me they're just too, I don't know. Looks really serious when you put red on, but anyway. So like I said before, even though I'm watching the football, I will be watching this as it goes live. I'm tuning into this as well. So if you do make comments, I will try and answer them for you. So I will have this running at the same time as you're seeing it as well. So, all right, let's leave that. Okay. I feel like I need some white. Alright, so I'm going to, let me just have a look at that, put that there. Let me just see what that's like. Have a bit of a look at it. Right, so white is, just looking for my white gesso, just bear with me for a minute. A little bit there, I've got heaps of gesso here somewhere. Okay, that will do nicely. So what I think I might do is I've got an old credit card here. It's got embossing stuff all over it. I'm just wiping that off. I'm going to, excuse me, I've lost my voice. Just going to grab a bit of gesso out of there. Put it onto my palette. Hope you can see that there. I'll just move this right over. Can you see that? Put that there like that. Now, credit card. Okay. So the credit card, I'm just going to smush it through the gesso that I've got here. You could use paint. The reason I'm using the gesso is because the gesso I use is got a nice thickness to it, and I want it to grab. So I'll use my credit card. I'm just smushing along. Okay. Anything goes with this. I'm keeping the lines going down. I kind of like that idea. Occasionally I might put one going across like that. I really find this quite effective. You can see there's quite a bit of, there we go. Not real keen on that, but anyway. If you don't like it, put a bit of a scratch through it. It's just, I'm just trying to bring a bit of white into this because it's looking very, oh, dare I say deadly or something. I'm not quite sure how to describe it. So anything kind of goes. Smush it down. Always remember where your picture's going to go, so don't do your best work smack bang in the middle of the page where the picture's going, because you're going to be disappointed when you cover it up. And so areas where you think it's just, oh gosh, there's just too much paint there or whatever, just cover it up and then, you know, smush it through a bit. And then after a while, stop, have a look at it. Now I'm fortunate because I'm recording, I can look up at the screen to see what I'm doing. Now when you're obviously creating at home, you don't necessarily do that unless you have got a recording device. But often what I would suggest people do is take a photo of it as you go along and then look at it, because when you look at things through another lens, you see it differently, and then the mistakes that you think are there will stand out, or the bits that you really like will poke out too, and you think, oh my goodness, I like that, I'll do a bit more of that. So it really is important to I mean, when you're working on a table, you can't stand back and have a look at your work like you do with an easel. But when you're working like this, take a photo of it and have a look to see what you're ending up with. Let's just have a look at that now. Let's wait for the camera to catch up. Have a look at that. Okay, so I've just pushed it all back a little bit, so that white is just helping to take the edge off all of those really warm colours. Okay, and I like the fact of, I'll just put that lightly there. I like the fact that even though it's a slightly different colour, I am going to do some dripping in the peacock colours. Peacock is what I'm going to be using. Yeah, I can't get over how blue this looks on the camera, because it's actually not as blue in real life. But so I'll just dry this off quickly to get rid of the white, make sure it's white, dry. Now the white, obviously, all colours, the majority of colours do show through white. So, you know, the pinks and the oranges and that reds are coming through the white as well. So, but that's okay. It just helps to blend it all in together. Now I'm just going to move this out the side here a little bit. Now you've noticed that I've got my paper towel here, because the idea is I'll try and get this in an angle so you can see it, but I'm going to be dripping, hence why I've got the things there. Now I'm using the Dina Wakley's sprays, but not as a spray obviously. I'm going to dip a pipette into it and then just let it drip down. So I'm just going to just put a fine mist of water over that. Hopefully I'll work quickly because of the heat in here at the moment. Hopefully that has. Okay, I'm going to try and hold it so that you can sort of see. And I'm just letting it do its own thing. I guess the kitty reminds me a bit of Mad Max. You know, that kind of futuristic, apocalyptic scenario. So that's what I imagine when I see it. So I'll just bring that down so you can sort of see it a little bit there. Then I'll hold it up to get rid of some excess, because I've got this bit down here. I don't necessarily want it all pooling at the bottom. Try not to, it's easier said than done, try not to overspray too much as with the water. I just leave that stand up for a little bit. I want to try and do it so that you can see it in the camera. I'm just holding it back a little bit so that you can see it. But I'm just being conscious of down the bottom here. I just don't particularly want it to pool. So all that excess. Now I'm going to Sorry, I'm not talking. Just want to try and get this dried off. And it is disappearing a little bit because it's been watered down because of the, you know, the spraying that I did in the first place. But that's good because it's just pushing it back in the background. I don't want it to be a feature. I just want it to, you know, I should be able to just lay that down now. Just trying to get rid of some of those, some of that. Goodness me, that would be a disaster. Bit of paper here. Just going to dab some of this off. Just lift it up so that the heat can go through. Oh, it's hot. Okay. We'll leave that to sit for a second. All right. Him on there. Let's see what that's doing here for the moment. I think we need to do some stamping. Just waiting for the camera to catch up. Just sort of bring that up a little bit so you can sort of see. It's looking quite good. Yep, love it. Now I might grab another. I'm having a thought here. Just might grab another stencil to I don't know. Sorry about me thinking on my feet here. Here's my other one. Let's see what's in this one. Ooh. Sorry, I'm just having a thought here. Sorry, I just saw that and I thought, oh, hello, I could use that. I'm thinking, you know, the apocalyptic, there's no, you know, all the trees have lost all of their dead trees and all that sort of thing. I'll explain what I'm going to do with that in a moment. That was just a big thought. I know this part's boring for you viewing, but it's actually an important part of the process of deciding what to do. I mean, I haven't thought this through to the last ounce of it because I don't want to be too prescriptive about it. So what I'm going to do is I've got some of my, I'll do the tree business later. I've got some of my gesso still here. I'll get a new sponge, and I just want to bring in some of these spots, and I might even do some of the lines there as well. Let me just have a look at what that looks like. Just waiting for the screen to catch up. It's very slow. Oh yeah, you just see it a little bit, so just creating a little bit of interest there, that's fine. Just, don't put too much paint on your sponge like I did just then. More up there a bit. Usually you'd work in threes, but because this is a tall journal, I probably tend to do a bit more than 3. I'll probably go to the 5, only because I'm just not used to the height. But like anything, there's no real rule about what to do and what not to do. It does, what you do does impact though. You don't just start swishing stuff down and not think about it. You do have to think about it. And wherever possible, always try and anchor to the bottom, to the outside edges. Yeah, there is some method to our madness. And while I'm here, I'm just going to do, I did it again. Do as I say, don't do as I do, I tell you. So what I'm doing here is I'm just mopping up some of that excess but with this apocalyptic scenario, I guess it doesn't really matter too much. A little bit there, and a little bit there. So what I'm doing is I'm really lightening it up, okay? Because I don't know, as much as I love the red, it can be a little bit, I don't know, in your face. Anyway, stop. Oh, I keep seeing these pops of colour that I want to push back a little bit. Be covered in dark. Alright, so we'll leave that at that. Dry that off very quickly because some of it's still a bit wet. Have a drink. Okay, so what I'm thinking of with this, on this side I'll have the trees coming out from the edge there because they've got to come out that way. Like I say, I don't know really what I'm putting on this side. It'll probably be like a quote or something, but so I still, you know, I'll probably end up just putting the quote along there as well. But then on this side you've got little kitty. And also this is a deliberate ploy where I've got more space on the top than on the bottom. That is a deliberate thing for me. I tend to do that. So I'm going to be putting the stencil underneath. So you'll just see a little bit of that there, but you'll see a lot more of it over here. I may even do it a bit down here as well. Now this is where I'm going to, might horrify some of you. Just bear with me for a second whilst I look for this. Okay. Now on the picture I can see sort of browns and dark greens. Actually, I'll grab fur as well. Okay, so on this backpack here, I can see the brown and I can see the green. There's a bit of red on there too. So, and there's also the green on the glasses. So here, that's in the picture, it's brown. So a lot of these shading parts are brown. So I've got out Cocoa, Dina Wakley's very dark brown, and I've got Fur. I tell you what, a colour that would be nice too. Let's get it out just in case. I'm going to get out Syrup because it might, it's a bit liquidy. Anyway, I haven't used it for a little while. I'm just giving it a good shake. Oh, that sounded very, very fluidy. Yeah, okay. All right, so what I will be doing is I'm going to be doing the what I call reverse stenciling. Okay, so I've got several baby wipes here. Bring them out. Hopefully they'll dry off out a little bit while I do this. And I'm going to get a paintbrush. So I'm going to paint. Remember I said I'm going to bring that out from here. Okay, so I'm going to have that coming out there from like that. And I may even have a little bit coming out from the bottom here. We'll see how I go. Because I want it in 3 sections. So I'm going to put it there. I'm going to put it there. So I think I might have a little bit underneath here. Or something like that. Maybe even coming out here. I don't know. Alright, so what I'm going to do is have to work very quickly because of the spread of this stencil. It means I'm going to have to paint most of this with the brown and a bit of the green, and then I'm going to rub it back. Okay, so I need to have a look at that. Grab a big chunk of brown. So on the side here, sorry, I'll just move it back over again. So on the side here, I've got my brown that I've just stuck all over that page. So I've got the cocoa, and I'm going to grab some of this syrup. I'll grab a bit more there. It's very liquidy. Don't know what's happened to that. And I'm going to grab a bit of the fur as well, because the fur is just gorgeous. Got to keep it away. I've got white. Okay, a bit there. So between the 3 of those colours, I'm going to be painting this area. Okay, so I'm starting off with a dry brush, and I'm going to just go in really, really haphazardly down here, and I'm going to have to work very, very quickly. Where's the stencil? Okay, right. Well, after all that, there's not much brown on there. Quick, Linda, quick. I think the brown's a little bit translucent, so it doesn't stand out as much, but that's okay. Alright, here we go. Let's start rubbing. Let's see if I've just messed up this whole thing. If nothing else, I'm giving the whole page a distressed look. But we'll see. I hope you've got a bit of faith in me. Whoops. Try not to have too much of a panic attack just yet. It's actually coming out quite nice. It's looking very eerie, which I like. Okay, alright, so get a clean one. Now I'm going to wipe but I'm going to wipe sections of it. I like the kind of green that's been left behind, the colour that's been left behind. So I'm just going to smush it all in. Have a look at that, that's awesome. I will be putting brown splatters on this as well. So it really is starting to grunge up a little bit, which makes it fit more in line in keeping. So see, if I keep rubbing, so if it's too much for you, just keep rubbing. I probably should have, if I was too worried, I should have put a clear gesso over this, but I personally am not worried. But if you are a little bit worried about it, just put a coat of clear gesso before you start doing this reductive reverse. So, and the shadow that's around it, it just gives it atmosphere. I just love it. So glad I saw that stencil. So I'll just dry that off a bit. Oh man. Sometimes I surprise myself. Okay, so you imagine when I do it over here with the picture behind it, it's going to look really cute. Okay, so I will have to wipe this off because I'm going to be turning it over and all sorts of things. So we just want to make sure that we're starting off. I will do another bit down the bottom here. And I was surprised at how much that the cocoa did not come out. The fur seemed to have taken over. I'm going to put a lot of cocoa on it this time. Put a bit more fur on it there as well. Have I gone off screen again? Probably. And I'll throw a bit of syrup on too, but or a lot. Okay, so this time we're only going to do, I'm going to do a little bit like that, okay? So it will be going over what I've done before. So I'm going to be doing this much here, okay? I need to put a reasonable amount on only because it is so humid here. Oh, need to be very careful because I'm rubbing off what I just did. But I don't want to rub it off too much. Some of it may come off, but my main goal at the moment is just to get rid of this excess paint. You do go through a few wet wipes doing this technique. Alright, so let's, another clean one. Just very softly I'm going over that part because it will rub off if I do it too hard. So I'm just being very, very soft, get rid of all that yuckiness. Take that off. Let's dry it off. Oh, I don't want to dry it off today. Have a look at that. Just need to see what it looks like on the screen. Yeah, look, I think I'm happy with that. I just want to lighten up some of these bits. Alright. But I think it's looking okay. Look, honestly, it can be really scary when you're doing it, but, you know, I think you'll find I've done okay with it. Probably just a little bit brown in here, but I don't want to rub too much because I'll start rubbing off the stencil. It's funny how one technique can change the look of the whole thing. So look, you look on this side, it's nice and bright and that kind of thing, but whereas it's taken on a dark turn on this side, which I think is pretty cool, because I am going to darken the edges of the picture too, so that it looks a little bit grungy. Alright, so let's have a look at that and see what we get rid of some of these disgusting. Alright, so yeah, look, it's probably a little bit dark in there than what I would like. But that's okay. I'm not going to get too hung up about it because I'm going to put a quote over it anyway. Alright, but I personally think that looks pretty cool. Alright, so I need to just do it one more time on this side. Just want my stencil so that's, because I am going to do it, yeah, I'll do it this way this time. Now I want to put it up high because the picture will be going about there, so I just want to be able to see some of it. And maybe I will actually take it off so that it goes up above there. So the top 2/3 needs lots of paint. Okay, here we go. I'm just grabbing whatever's on the palette there now. Okay, stencil. Alright, let's see what we got here. Ah, got that coming off there. That'll do nicely. That will do me nicely. So let's go. It is a very finicky stencil to be doing this kind of technique with it, so before you actually do it on your beautiful piece of work, maybe have a go at doing it, trying it out first. But you know, I was pretty confident that I'd be able to pull this off, so I'm not too concerned about it. So see, that's come back nice and white. I've been able to, oops. And you've just got to follow the flow of the stencil too. You know, follow the, I mean, this is probably the better one that I've done because I've got the confidence now after doing it a couple of times. Because the first time you do it, you think, oh no, what have I done? Particularly when you're doing such a bright colour, you know, like a dark colour. I know when I do black, I know people gasp and think, oh my God, what's going on there? Okay. Let's have a look, see what, oh gosh, it's pulled the paper off. I'll just paint that, that's okay. So what I might do is grab some of these dirty, just to grunge up. Now I've really grunged up my page. It's just amazing. It was not my intention, but that is how it's ended up. Nice and grungy. Okay, so let me just put that somewhere nice. Dry this off. Grab a little paintbrush, grab some paint here. So that's just where that paint peeled off before. I've just put that there, I'll dry that on. So I mean this page has taken quite a turn from what I started off with. I'm actually quite pleased with it, to be honest with you. Now you're probably going to be upset with me, but I'm going to just rub a little bit. Put that tissue onto here. So there we go with that. I will get my ground espresso here. Alright, I am happy with that. Okay, let me get my box of stamps here, my ever-growing box of stamps. Whoops, oh no, I've just dropped half them on the floor. I'm going to use this one. This is a self-active stamp, of course. I should, I'll get that. I'm going to go back to my, what is it? My ground espresso. And I'm just going to start, oh, I don't like that. It's got, I just don't like the, okay. We'll see how we go. It's got too much of an edge on it. How does it look? Oh yeah, it doesn't look too bad from your angle. So this is my go-to step now when I'm doing these things. Now, what I like about this stamp is that it has the word story written on it, and occasionally when it's comes out you see the word story. But can you see I'm really just stamping in the one place. I'm stamping a lot, but it's all in the one place. So because it's just the way that it, there's a piece of, I'll do it on the back of the picture. Let's do the stamp. So that's the stamp itself. So you can see it's got a lovely grungy border to it. So that's what this is my go-to sort of thing now, which is a technique I learnt from Seth. And yeah, and also I like to do it on the actual, so now I'm just grunging this up a little bit. Don't like the idea of the border part, but that's okay. Do it this way. If I curve it, I don't get so much of that bordery. I always like a little bit on the face as well. Alright, so can you see now that that is kind of being quite grunged up? I'll just bring it up a little bit because it's got a bit of a glare on it. I'll just wait for that to catch up. Okay, so you can sort of see that there. I really love the grunginess on that. I mean, that's my thing. You probably don't need to do it as much as I do if that doesn't appeal to you, but it is something that quite often do these days. Not necessarily just for grunge, for anything I do. Alright, now bring this up too, because I want you to sort of see how the ledger underneath still comes through. It's almost like we did some collage underneath, but we haven't. We've, you know, that is the journal marks from the actual paper, from that. You can see the handwriting on there, and I just think that's great. Alright, so I'm going to do some, just bear with me for a minute, because I just feel that's so green compared to that. Anyway, but I use the peacock. Let me have a look. I don't know. Do I have ocean? What have we got here? Oh, so I'm just having a look to see what. You know, you might think it's strange, but let me have a look. Probably a bit too blue. No, okay, no. Just trying to see if I've got ocean. I seem to have every other colour but ocean. Oh, here we go. Sorry people, talk amongst yourselves for the moment. Turquoise. Lapis is a bit bright. Mineral. Oh, I've got too many paints. Alright. Got every colour but peacock. Or sky. Okay, I'm going to use the sky because I was looking for ocean, sorry, but I can't find, it looks like I don't have ocean. But I've got sky, so just going to grab a, where is it? Sorry people. See, hopefully it's not too, I just want to lighten it up a little bit. I know you might think blue, gosh, what you doing blue for? But when I see the picture now with all of the grunginess, this is actually looking quite green, and so I just want to green it up a little bit. I'm just going to put that over the face. That'll do. That there, put that on there, and what I like about the gloss sprays, I mean no one uses them as gloss sprays anymore because they're just not reliable, they clog up, but they dry glossy, and that's what I like about it. It's a bit like my inks. If I had the right colour ink, I probably do, but cerulean blue ink would be beautiful on this, but I've run out of that. I have to go and get more. Just dry this off a bit. Big splotches there. I'm just going to blot that so that it goes grungy. Oh no, it's dry. Gosh. Oh, it's come off a little bit, so that's good. All right. So I'm pretty happy with that. I'm not going to do much more to it than that. Where's my picture? I didn't dry that off, did I? But that looks pretty dry. Okay. Can't see it very much, but when you're close up to it, you can see them a little bit, but they're not much. They don't show up much because of the background. But they're pretty cool. Alright, So I'm probably not going to do a lot more to this. I'll probably just do a border around. I want to see if I can put some, might put something in behind there, not quite sure what. And then obviously I'll do a quote. So by the time this is released on Wednesday night, I'll have had this completed, so you can see the pictures that I do. But yeah, so I just wanted to quickly do something up for you tonight, so that you know, it's always nice to watch. I love doing the Watch Me Work Wednesdays, so it's always nice to see something there. But I will put something in behind here. I'm not quite sure yet what that will be, and I'll find my quote and put it over here as well. And yeah, so then I'll put lots of images up tomorrow. And so thank you again, everyone. I'll just bring that up so you can sort of see. It's got a bit of a glare on it, so you can sort of see what. But I think you all agree this looks 100 times different. So different to what it looked like in the beginning, and the picture that you would have seen in the beginning. Okay, very, very different. So thank you for stopping by tonight, and I'm sorry it's not a live, it's just a recording, but you know, go the Maroons. Alright, thanks everyone, and I'll see you again soon. Thank you. Bye bye.